Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
According to a source, here's the quote, Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books, it says.
But this has been Meghan Markle's MO from the beginning. She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
But Meghan is willing to show pictures of her kids. I think it just depends on how many zeros are at the end of the check.
Ever get the sense you're witnessing history unravel in real time? That's exactly what's happening with Prince Harry right now. The House of Lords just took a bold step, moving forward with a petition to strip him of all his royal titles. And no, this isn't just about removing Duke of Sussex from a fancy email footer. This is about cutting the final fragile ties between Harry and the institution he was born into. No more His Royal Highness, just Harry.
Their 7 years, we have seen basically a catastrophic comedy of errors ever since they got married and then ran away to California. Something really bad about this relationship. It hasn't worked.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
But let's be real, this didn't come out of thin air. You could feel the cracks forming for years. The explosive Oprah interview, the headline-making Netflix series, that tell-all memoir. Each move chipped away at the royal facade, peeling back the curtain on a monarchy trying to stay polished in an increasingly unfiltered world.
The world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix.
But truth be told, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how good I was, no matter what I did, they were still going to find a way to destroy me.
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. Truth be told, what you just said is complete and utter garbage.
I can't imagine having to feel like it's appropriate to have those sorts of close and should be otherwise private family conversations just fleshed out in public. I find that really quite sad.
But this petition, this isn't just another headline. It's the British establishment stepping out of the shadows and making a calculated move. No more polite nods, no more behind-the-scenes grumbling. The gloves are officially off.
You just wait until Prince William is king. I think he's going to put his handsome foot down and he is going to rock Meghan Markle's world. Meghan Markle is going to be humbled very quickly.
According to a report in OK Magazine, Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles once he becomes king.
Let's not sugarcoat it. When Harry and Meghan packed their bags, said their royal goodbyes, and touched down in sun-drenched Montecito, most people figured they'd fade into a quiet, semi-glamorous life. Maybe a few serene baby photos here and there, some charity work, the occasional podcast drop. But instead, boom, a full-blown media firestorm erupted. Explosive interviews, allegations of racism, mental health struggles, accusations of neglect and betrayal that cut straight to the bone of royal tradition. This wasn't just stirring the pot, it was smashing it on the palace floor.
This preposterous pair sitting down, giving that interview, that awful interview to Oprah Winfrey, calling the royal family racists. False.
There's a conversation with you,
With Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of colour.
Meghan has always been a mad, keen player of the victim card. The nasty Brits who took against her because of the colour of her skin. The social media lynch mob who are so unconscionably cruel to her. The journalist haters who keep writing about what a bully she is. All the negative media coverage she gets has nothing to do with her.
The monarchy, whether you admire it or eye roll it, runs on a finely tuned system. Control, structure, and silence. When you're born into it, it's like you're handed an invisible NDA, one that binds you not just to duty, but to discretion. Breaking that's not just scandalous, it's revolutionary. Traditionally, royal drama stays behind palace doors, and emotions are tucked neatly behind tight-lipped smiles. But Harry, he took the royal rulebook, lit it on fire, and broadcast the blaze. He didn't just spill tea, he served an entire buffet of secrets, one tell-all at a time.
See, this institutional gaslighting that happens is extraordinary. And that's why everything that's happened to us was always going to happen to us. Because if you speak truth to power, that's how they respond.
Before you gave up any royal duty, but wanted to have your royal cake and eat it by keeping your title so you could exploit them and make gazillions of dollars in America to the highest bidder. And what do you do for that money? You trash your family endlessly, and you're going to keep doing it, as does your wife, who trashes her own family, most of whom she's disowned.
Now, the debate isn't just should he lose his titles? It's deeper. It's about the meaning of royalty itself. If you can walk away from the role, publicly criticize the institution, monetize your royal backstory, and still wear the crown, what even is royalty anymore? That's the fire currently blazing through the House of Lords. They're drawing a hard line. If you step away, you step all the way. No halfway house in Montecito with a prince nameplate on the door. And the UK isn't alone in this wreck. Across Europe, monarchies are trimming the fat. Sweden cut titles. Denmark followed. Even Spain is reassessing its royal roster. The message? Clear as crystal. Contribute or move aside. To many in Britain, Harry didn't do either. And now, the Crown is asking what that really costs.
She sent a bloke or some friend of hers from it, and it said, present from HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. So she's lying.
Yeah, she's gaslighting. She's lying. Absolutely. And this is just another one of those examples of Harry and Meghan disrespecting the Queen. I know she is no longer here, but that does not mean that the rules don't apply to you any longer.
Harry walked away, but held onto the perks. And let's be honest, you can't slam the door behind you and still expect to keep the key. This isn't just about titles. It's about what those titles stand for. They're not trendy labels or Instagram flair. They're meant to represent service, duty, sacrifice. The Crown's carefully curated brand of honor. At least that's the story the institution sells.
The HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family because it denotes a level of I guess, respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honor to have an HRH.
So when those same symbols become part of a personal brand, attached to docuseries, podcasts, and bestsellers, it hits a nerve. For many, it feels like turning centuries of tradition into a marketing strategy. You can't blast the firm for being toxic on a global Netflix stage, then look shocked when they come back for your royal badge. To be fair, Harry's not out here pretending he's still doing royal walkabouts. He knows he stepped away. But the consequences of that choice, they don't stop with him.
Harry and Meghan take their audience for fools. They blame everybody but themselves. They present even the most incendiary of claims with no evidence. And sadly, the impact is real. The royal family is getting damaged. The monarchy is getting tarnished.
Meghan may not be named in this petition, but let's be real. Her influence has shaped this story from day one. And in the court of public opinion, that makes her just as much a part of the fallout. Meghan entered the royal scene with fire, confident, vocal, and completely unwilling to play the part of the quiet, smiling Duchess. For a lot of people, that was refreshing. For others, it was a full-blown disruption. Together, she and Harry didn't just leave the royal family, they rebranded it California style.
He told Good Morning America, I just saw my father who has cancer. He talked about how these moments can bring people back together. It's content for Prince Harry, and I don't think that the royals trust him.
Suddenly, Buckingham Palace became content. The monarchy became a storyline. And maybe that could have been forgiven. But they didn't just walk away. They lit up every bridge behind them, page by page, scene by scene. They aired the palace's most guarded secrets for the world to binge. Now, the monarchy's had enough. The storm they stirred is no longer brewing. It's here. And Harry, he's standing dead center in the eye of it.
I'm very, very surprised the openness with which Harry and Meghan have gone into this, in that, they're sharing text messages, they're sharing very private photographs, they're sharing every detail of their most secret trips in the early days of their relationship. And this is a couple who said they left the royal family seeking privacy.
For decades, Buckingham Palace survived by doing what it does best, staying silent. Scandals came and went. Divorces made headlines. Tabloids ran wild. But the royal motto never wavered. Never complain, never explain. Even steel walls, though, start to buckle when the pressure keeps building. This petition from the House of Lords, it's not just paperwork. It's a warning shot loud and clear. And let's be honest, they didn't just whip this up overnight. This has been quietly building for a long time. To much of the public, this move feels overdue. Not just because Harry walked away from royal duties. People leave complicated families all the time. That part, relatable. It's how he did it. You don't call out your entire bloodline on global television, then follow it up with a memoir detailing royal drama blow by blow, and still expect a group hug from the institution you just roasted.
Prince Harry mauls his own brother. He accuses his father, the new king, of being a liar. Even has a dig at his late great-grandmother, the Queen, for standing by and doing nothing. Another tissue of self-serving lies, mostly, I suspect. We don't know yet, but most of it looks like the Oprah interview. just another load of unsubstantiated smears designed to portray them as victims.
He didn't hold back. He dropped names. He alleged his own family fed stories to the press, gaslighted his wife, and left her to suffer in silence. Whether people believe those claims or not, their impact was seismic. The royal stiff upper lip shattered. And here's where it gets complicated, because behind the crown and ceremony, this is about more than personal loyalty. It's about precedent. What happens if they let Harry keep his titles? What message does that send to every duke, earl, and royal cousin out there? That you can turn the royal inner circle into a content franchise and still hold on to your seat at the table?
Picture he tries to paint with Queen Elizabeth, even saying during that BBC interview that the Queen wanted him to have this level of security. And we're finding out the truth, and it's that she bothered by them.
I think the understanding is that when he becomes monarch, they will be formally stripped of the HRH.
And I'm sure Prince William has a lot of support for that from the public.
The monarchy has lasted through wars, scandals, and revolutions by holding tight to one thing: structure. When that structure starts to shake, the response may take time, but make no mistake, it hits hard. And it's not just the UK tuning in. Other royal houses across Europe are watching this unfold like a case study in crisis management, because in today's world, public perception doesn't just influence power, it defines it. And royal titles, they're no longer just ceremonial hand-me-downs from history. They're PR tools. They carry expectations, responsibilities, and strict unwritten rules. But Harry, he's been rewriting those rules like he's launching a Silicon Valley startup, not stepping down from centuries of royal tradition.
I'm sure they will tomorrow. I don't have to change anything about myself. I don't need to work. I'm just going to keep doing all the things that I'm doing that have failed, and I'm not going to take any responsibility. I'm not going to suggest that maybe that might be my fault. No. It'll just all change tomorrow.
Let's not overlook the moves. The multi-million-dollar Netflix deal, the high-profile Spotify podcasts, the best-selling memoir. Each step has looked less like stepping back from public life and more like a calculated pivot into the business of fame. To many, it's not a quiet exit. It's a rebrand, and not everyone's buying it. Critics say Harry and Meghan didn't just step back for peace, they stepped up for profit. That they didn't escape the system, they repackaged it. That what they fled in silence, they monetized in surround sound. And you can't trademark rebellion while still wearing the badge of duty.
It is a masterclass in self-promotion without, it strikes me, a scintilla of self-awareness. I'm stunned by it.
But let's be fair, it's not all cut and dry. There are those who genuinely believe Harry was backed into a corner, that he tried to modernize the monarchy from within and was shut down, that his boldness was courage, not betrayal, that Meghan didn't manipulate him, but instead offered him a life where he didn't have to shrink to fit into a crown that never quite sat right.
And here in the States, it's being reported by tabloids that Meghan quietly canceled plans to celebrate their 7th wedding anniversary at home with Prince Harry because they don't have that many friends left.
The royal family, especially William and Kate, didn't develop reservations about Meghan because of the way she bullied palace staff. She was simply the victim of royal racism. All of this is nonsense, of course.
Even if you believe that version of the story, though, it doesn't erase the impact. The monarchy is more than a family. It's an image, an institution, a symbol carefully preserved across generations. And when that symbol gets dragged through global headlines and dissected in streaming specials, the establishment doesn't just sigh and move on. It retaliates, but not with drama, with paperwork, with legal proceedings, with formalities. And that's exactly what this petition represents. The system armoring up and defending itself.
She hated being in Britain. She hated being a royal. And then she staged that Megxit, taking Harry in tow, fleeing Britain under a cloud because the Queen had launched an inquiry, an investigation into her bullying palace staff.
Some people think the move is too harsh. After all, whatever's happened, Harry is still King Charles's son. Stripping him of titles feels personal, like a royal cold shoulder. But others argue it's not personal at all. It's not about punishment, it's about protocol. A title isn't a souvenir or a participation ribbon. You don't get to keep it just because of your last name. You earn it by living it, honoring it, and respecting what it stands for. And the House of Lords, they're saying Harry no longer does. They've made up their minds. Harry no longer fits the mold.
And this follows in the past practice, Prince Andrew, when he stepped away from royal life after scandal. He still has the HRH, he does not use it.
Whether this petition passes or not, the signal is crystal clear. The era of royals speaking freely while clinging to titles is coming to an end. The monarchy is drawing its line in the sand. Every institution has its breaking point. And for the British crown, Harry may have just crossed the last one. What started as a couple's journey toward independence has spiraled into something far bigger, a public unraveling of legacy, loyalty, and lineage. If this petition succeeds, and Harry is formally stripped of his remaining royal titles, it'll be historic.
after growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired.
But it's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
We're talking about the first time in modern memory that someone born this close to the throne is removed, not by exile, not by scandal, but through official legislation. It wouldn't erase who Harry is. It won't change the fact that he's Princess Diana's son or undo the years he served in the military, but it would redefine him. No more Duke of Sussex, no more His Royal Highness. Just Harry. Harry the man, Harry the husband, Harry the outsider. And that's a transformation the monarchy almost never allows. Certainly not without a battle. And make no mistake,
it's the UK's right to then say and follow the rules that they have, that you're not special. You don't get extra just because. And he constantly is living this life of demanding extra because he's Prince Harry. Bro, when you left the royal family, you became some random dude. Let's keep it honest. Who was Prince Harry?
So many people, they want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do anything.
For many inside the institution, this is one they're willing to fight. This isn't about payback. It's about preservation. The royal family's survival has never depended on spotlight appeal. It's thrived by adapting quietly behind closed doors, not under Netflix credits or podcast intros. Sure, public emotion flares with bombshell interviews and tabloid headlines, but constitutional loyalty, that runs deeper. It's what keeps the monarchy standing long after the noise dies down. When Harry chose to turn the crown into content, to monetize memory and package his royal past for streaming platforms and bestsellers, he crossed a line. He stopped being just a rebel. He became a liability. His memoir, Spare, wasn't just a tell-all. It was a calculated strike, page after page, from intense fights with William to therapy revelations to quiet but pointed jabs at Camilla. It played less like reflection and more like emotional warfare, and every word chipped away at the image the monarchy worked so hard to protect, one of dignity, discretion, and restraint. There's only so much curtain you can pull back before the whole performance starts to unravel.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
Why?
We didn't think it was necessary. She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
That's right. Queen Camilla has to be there, the quote-unquote wicked stepmother, according to Prince Harry.
There was a time when Harry was the relatable royal, the soldier, the humanitarian, the loyal younger brother in the shadow of a future king, the one who used his position to bridge the gap between royalty and real life. But somewhere in the quest for authenticity, he made a trade, diplomacy for drama. Harry didn't just step away from royal life. He did it loudly, unapologetically, and in full view of the world. And that kind of exit, it clashes hard with the old world traditions that define the monarchy. Meghan, throughout this entire saga, has remained a lightning rod. To some, she's the catalyst, the one who opened Harry's eyes. To others, she's the accelerant, the flame that scorched every bridge he had left. Whether you see her as his guide or his detour, one thing's clear. Her influence is woven into every chapter of this story. Together, Harry and Meghan have crafted a brand built on truth-telling, or at least that's the pitch. But their critics aren't buying it. They say it's less about truth and more about control. Controlling the story, the spotlight, and the narrative itself. The British public, divided. Some see Harry's openness as brave, finally pulling back the curtain on an outdated, unfeeling system. Others view it as the ultimate betrayal of duty, honor, and family legacy. But here's the hard truth. Even admiration doesn't grant you a free pass. Even noble intentions come with consequences. Because the monarchy, it was never designed to be binge-worthy. It's not a reality show. It's an institution. And institutions don't play by influencer rules, and this is where the story reaches its turning point. Because the crown isn't just protecting tradition, it's redefining its future. If Harry loses his titles, it marks the end of an era where royals could rewrite the rules and still hold on to the symbols of the system they defy. It's not just Harry's legacy on the line. It's a message to every royal watching. This role isn't just a birthright, it's a commitment. And when you walk away from it, the crown walks away from you. Love him or question him. Harry's choices have forced the monarchy to confront something it's avoided for centuries: accountability in the age of exposure. This is more than drama. It's history unfolding. If you want more deep dives into the headlines, the royals, and the stories shaking pop culture, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us here at Star Spotlight. We're breaking it all down, one twist at a time.